Look at Niles. Niles
Hey,
wanted to wear the red
looking
shirt
hat.
too.
You get that.
Yeah.
I ain't touching that.
Guys, let's do it.
I'll gladly shake it.
Good to see all these dynamic disc guys on the last card of the day.
All right, 2010 Lewisville Open out in Lewisville, Texas. Ron Converse is up at the tee box. He is in the lead after round one.
Yeah, hole one out here is it's probably about 280 downhill. Usually most players are throwing putters on it. I believe that's probably a soft focus right there.
Ron parks it real nice.
We got Giggler coming up.
I noticed Giggler's wearing that Redskins hat. What's the story on that?
Yeah, I believe this weekend the Cowboys were playing the Redskins, and being close to Dallas, all the Dallas fans around don't like Donald supporting his team. So
looks like he hit the tree on that one. That might be a little bit difficult putt for him.
now I'm throwing ESP Banger here. And it looks like I threw it to the right a little bit. But I'm pretty sure it's going to give me a putt. And if you get up into those trees on the right side, you usually have a pretty good look at the basket. Looks like Miles Seaborn is looking at the Scooby shot up over the top of the trees. Works well for some people, but that just seems like a lot of work to throw that shot when it's only a 260 to 80 foot hole downhill, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right there, it didn't quite get on camera where it landed. Those types of shots are really hard to predict where they're going to land.
We got David Himmeline here from Houston, Texas.
Now he's a lefty. Does this course play really well for lefties, or?
You know, the first couple holes play pretty good for the lefty, and then it pretty much goes downhill for them after that. It's a pretty challenging lefty course.
Miles up for his attempt at a birdie.
Oh, great putt.
Puts it right in there.
That's always a good way to start the round with a big putt like that. Get your confidence up early.
Here's Eric behind the tree. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes when the game's going, it's hard for me to get the right spot, but he makes it good with a nice two.
Oh, a little high maybe. Looks like it could have stuck. Probably should have stuck, but we got Donald.
Looks like he's just going to straddle around that tree. So should be no problem.
Yeah, it's about 12-foot putt. He should get this all day. Oh, looked a little left.
So, Eric, when you're on the lead card, and you said it's always good to make a big putt, when you miss a putt that's something that you should get, how do you handle that mentally?
Man, it's really hard to do, but you know, you gotta refocus, you gotta stop, you gotta take a deep breath, you gotta do whatever it takes to get, just to get through it and move on to the next shot. That's why you play 18 holes, not just one.
Good point. Alright, we're on the hole 2. And if you'll notice, everybody on the card is dynamic discs, and that was kind of a neat little turnout.
Yeah, we all team members made the lead card, all 5 of us, so that was pretty cool. This is a little straight shot here through the trees, or you can go up and over the top if you have a thumber, which I do not have a thumber, so I'm just throwing a buzz right at it. And here's Miles again. Looks like he's looking at that Scooby shot again.
Yeah, it looks like he's a little bored with that big yawn on his face.
This usually works pretty well for Miles on hole 2.
If you look,
Whoa!
boom, did you see that puff of smoke? He parked it real nice. In fact, I wonder if he hit the basket.
It was pretty close. You got Donald. Looked a little low and just a hair right. Caught that little bush. Kicked him out. He'll have a look at the basket. Should be a pretty easy 3.
Good catch, Himmeline. Looks like his footing was a little off and wanted to retry that.
Himmeline throwing a huge hyzer, and there's the big lake is out to the left, so he had to put it over the lake a little bit. Looks like Skip liked it.
Here we can see there's Miles.
The yellow disc there.
Yeah, really good placement.
Got Giggler. He looks a little off maybe after that first miss on the first hole. Trying to regather himself here and see if he can put down a big putt. It was a good bid. Chain high at least.
Now you can't tell from the camera angle. You're not going through the trees, are you?
I believe I was actually. We'll find out here. Yeah,
Sure enough, through the trees.
sure enough.
Right
Sometimes
in the
you know,
basket.
sometimes when there's a window and it's actually easier to hit that putt because you're just more concentrating on hitting the gap. You hit the gap, it's going in. You don't have all this wide open space around you. So sometimes gaps are good.
Rather than trying to figure out how to go around the object.
Yep. Just go through it. Himmeline with a birdie.
Ron with an easy
Ron's
birdie.
an easy two. And then Miles with the tap in up here. Just looks like Skip was showing him about where it hit.
Ellsworth had to settle with a 3 after everybody's getting a 2, so he's off to not a terrible start, but a little bit shaky.
Yeah, you definitely want to get either 1 or 2 out here at the lake. You're usually pretty disappointed if you miss it. Now hole 3 out here is really difficult, especially when you're throwing it from the tee pad like we are. It's pretty hard for you to film as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, with all those trees, it's really hard to film, and I believe that one actually hit the water.
Yeah, this is a big Anheuser shot that you're throwing out over water as a righty. And it's not very long, you know. It's only like 290, maybe 300, but it's one of the most difficult holes out there.
Miles going big there. He goes, and it's coming back. Doesn't quite make it all the way. I believe he hit the water as well.
And Himmeline should be just a pretty routine hyzer for that guy.
Now, which disc did you use on this one, Eric?
I threw a Z-Buzz. Something that I can just pop out there on a little bit of a turn and just let it ride over the lake. Not too sure where that one ended up. Looks like it might have been up to the right a little.
On this side, it's right there. If you have a retriever,
It's not very easy to grab it. It's kind of hung up in some bushes. See it right at the end of the tree line?
I'll get it. I'll get my shoes and socks off and I'll get it.
not be able to use it.
Jeremy can probably grab it.
Let me throw my.
Yeah, there you go. He's already got it.
See it right at the end of the
That's only about 12 feet to the max.
Good old Jeremy Rusco to the rescue.
How about that? That's one heck of a TD right there. Take your shoes and socks off and get out there and get your disc. Pretty amazing.
All right, Ron shooting from the drop zone.
This green placement, the basket placement on this hole is really cool. It's a bunch of rocks behind it, little cliff drop off, and if you miss and pop up and catch an edge and roll, there's your chance you're rolling in the lake. That's a good upshot from the drop zone. Yeah, it looks like Giggler just finished to the right. It never came out of the Anheuser line that he was on. see, there's one of those pops, but it rolled. It stayed safe, though. Ooh, Hemi. Looks like he kind of floated it a little bit. It's kind of hard to hit some putts on these holes when you got so much open air behind the basket and all you can see is blue.
That's what I was wondering, is why he tried to do a float instead of straight at it, so that, because if he would have missed big, it would have went way behind that little drop off. Good, nice. Yeah. Miles ends up with a circle 4.
As does Converse. And Himalayan tapping in for his par.
People out enjoying the nice weather and the beautiful lake out there.
Beautiful day in September, I believe.
Yes, very nice weather.
Hole 4 is pretty tough hole too. It's uphill, blind, turnover shot for the righty. And as you can see it tucked over there to the right, just right of that little red sign. You really want to hug this thing a lot tighter than you think.
Himalayan with a nice. This is probably another nice lefty hole.
Yeah, this is one of the last nice lefty holes for Himalayan, as you're going to see here in a little bit. But that's a great shot right there.
It looked like you threw your buzz again on that one.
Yep, that's my disc of choice on the hole, is to throw the buzz inside the tree, and I think I just went outside the tree this time. I think I just missed my line, and not too sure what kind of look I've got. That's not bad, but you know that's a pretty difficult putt because the basket sits on a little plateau with the drop off on all sides of it. So
that drop off can be real dangerous. I've seen a lot of guys made the mistake of overthrowing their putts and goes right behind there.
Ron Converse, that's probably a meteor he's throwing, and it looks like he just pulled it.
Yes.
That's a great shot right there. Got Miles. Not too bad. It looked a little low. Should be pretty easy up and down from there, though. That was just one of those, pop it up to the right, and if it falls in, and if not, you're just going to have a drop-in 3. It's a pretty scary putt right here. Ooh, jumped off the top. I don't think it rolled too far, though.
Looks like he was trying the same technique as you, but unfortunately hit the top of it, which popped it over the edge there.
Donald Ellsworth. Good putt.
Himalayan with the easy putt.
Yeah, you can see Converse's drive right there under the pole.
Yeah.
Oh, Miles. That's not good. Tap in for my par.
There you can see a close-up shot of how close he got that to the pole. That was just a sweet, sweet shot.
It was a great drive.
Donald coming back from a few bad holes, and now he's at the top of the box.
Hole 5 is pretty difficult as well, actually. You got to throw it up over all these trees if you've got the arm, which I'm pretty sure everyone on this card is going to be throwing the up over shot, which is another difficult hole for you to film.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, again, with the trees being full of leaves, it's hard to decide whether I'm going to film the drive, the landing of the disc or what. But I think I did pretty good here. You can see the disc flying overhead.
Yeah, see the full flight. That looks like a pretty good shot right there. I think you want to throw kind of a stall shot almost and let it crash the tree and drop straight down.
Now, how much of this is just throwing it out there? I mean, you can't see the basket.
No.
So is it just from memory, from playing this so many times?
A lot of it is memory, but there is a path down the middle that you can shoot at as well. And you can tell where the path goes around the corner. And at that turn, the basket's only about 40 feet from there. So you have a pretty good idea of where the basket is. You know, people who play here a lot.
And you'll notice there's not a lot of wind going on here, but on a windy day, would you even do the same shot?
Yeah, I mean, we played, out there the other day, and it was really windy, and that's pretty much the only shot on the hole if you want to try to attack it and get your two.
Here, I'm just kind of showing you some of the placements that everybody got.
No 2-meter rule. Didn't Dixon say no 2-meter rule?
Yeah, there's no 2-meter rule. Well, that's what Dixon said. I don't know if there's a 2-meter.
Yeah, Giggler. CTP, man.
Really?
I think we're looking for Mr. Himmeline's disc right now is what we were doing.
That's what Dixon said yesterday morning. Right?
And it looks like
Didn't
we
Dixon
finally
say
found it
no
up in the tree.
2-meter rule?
No 2-meter rule in effect. Dixon. That's not me. Is it? Did you see it go up there?
No, I did. I thought you had landed over here.
Yeah, that didn't look like my.
I don't see it.
Yep, there it is.
I got it right here. Right there? Look, it's right. Come on over, David. Is it? Yeah, it's a yellow first row destroyer?
Yep, you can see the stamp on it.
Okay.
See it right there?
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, that's it. Did we find out what the call is?
Himmeline always in good spirits.
No.
Alright, I think it's me then. Everybody else?
I see the orange one.
You hit this tree. Fell down. Think so? Mine was low enough. It was good.
We got here Miles, he's away, looks like. This is a tough putt from over here. You have a couple options. You can either go low and try to hit the gap and go through, or you can do a little pitch putt over the top of them and just kind of hope you fall in. Looks kind of like Miles is going to try to go over the little trees. It's up. Oh, caught the tree.
It looks like you have some of a similar obstacle there, but maybe looks like you're down on one knee too.
Yeah, I believe I was on my knee and I wanted to, like I said before, you hit the gap, it's going in.
Oh, right through and into the basket. Let's take another look at that in slow motion instant replay. Now, what are you thinking here? You're just
Pretty much all I'm thinking about is that gap that's, 15, 20 feet in front of me, and if I hit that gap, there's a pretty good chance it's going in.
Woo!
looks like the 2-meter rule is in effect, or
I don't think it was. Usually we don't play it out here at the lake, so looks like
Oh, my bad, Ron.
Himmeline stuck up, right by the basket,
No,
so
go
it looks
ahead.
like he has a good look at a birdie still. Yeah, you mentioned earlier that it wasn't very windy, which is pretty amazing that, these trees aren't just waving at us right now, because it's always windy at the lake, it seems. Ron with a great putt.
Ron's always there to make those really nice putts.
Himmeline gets the deuce, I believe. Yeah, that is a 2. Yep, there is no 2-meter rule.
And Donald finally gets up to be able to make his 2. Miles has to settle with the 3.
The par, yeah. Hole 6 is one of my favorite holes out here. It's 380, and it's a little uphill, then it's a little downhill at the end, and the basket sits on top of like a little island almost with some railroad ties that was constructed, and it looks really nice. We did lose a couple trees on the hole, but it still makes it a great hole. Still a really good hole. Got the giggler up.
Yeah, this one, it would seem you would have to have a pretty good arm to get it out there, but still have to be real good with technical shots to make it weave through those trees.
Absolutely, because you got to keep it pretty low off the ground in order for it to, fly 380 feet. You got to keep it pretty low.
Now, what's your disc of choice on this one?
Typically, I'll throw the Buzz on this hole, but that shot right there, I threw a XL.
Now, why did you choose that one?
I'd been throwing the Buzz in practice, and it had been coming up just a hair short. So I thought, an XL is basically a longer Buzz. So just pop it out there with a little hyzer and let it, fly to the hoop. Let's see what happened. Looks like it stayed up on top too.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been that close to that pin before.
Do you think you'll continue to use the XL on that shot, or?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it seemed to work there, unless, like I said, it's windy.
Yeah.
But typically when we play it, it's a pretty good tailwind. That's another reason the Buzz is a good choice, because the wind will push it.
Oh.
Donald, just a little low.
Good bid.
Rounded little step putt. He's one of the best putters like that. And, that little step putt he's got, when he's on, it's on.
There's no doubt. He's a pleasure to videotape on that putting. He does some amazing, amazing stuff with putts.
Good putt by Miles.
Nice one, Miles.
He sure doesn't look too happy right now, does he?
No, I don't think he's performing quite like he'd want to.
Good job. Slow down.
The Lodge at Taylor Ranch is fast becoming one of Oklahoma's premier disc golf courses, but it does not stop there. The Taylor family has long had a dream of turning their beautiful land, found in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, into a destination retreat where families can come and enjoy the great outdoors. If you are looking for a place in the country to host an event, please consider us. The Lodge at Taylor Ranch. The first time you're our guest, the second time you're family.
Alright, now we're on to hole 7. This one really close to the edge of the lake.
Himalayan has to throw a big anhyzer over the water on this hole.
This again is another one that's hard to film because when the trees are full of their leaves, because you just really can't see much with all them trees there.
Exactly. This time of year is really tough for Bobby to film out at the lake. That's going to be a pretty good shot right there, though. That little opening is where the basket sits.
What's the distance on this one?
I believe it's like 390. 380 to 390.
So it's not a really long hole.
No, there's not too many long holes out here at the lake.
Is it more of an intimidation factor because of the way you got to throw it out over the lake to get it there?
Absolutely. And you got to throw it up high off the tee because there's a bunch of trees you got to get over the top of, so... Like those trees right there. Or you could be like Miles and just throw around them all. That's a great shot. Skipped up to the railroad ties there. You can see the basket. Got Donald Ellsworth on the tee. That's going to be good.
He got another good shot.
Looks like Himalayan's down by the water. Down by the water's edge, got a little tough shot, or gotta maneuver around some trees here.
He goes for it, and oh,
It was a good line. Little downhill 20-footer.
no problem for the EMAC. Another no-brainer for Ron Converse as well. And this one should be no problem for the Giggler.
Go ahead.
And he puts it right in there.
So looks like Himmeline's gonna have to settle with the par. Everybody else looks like they're gonna get deuces. Miles with the closest drive. He still doesn't look very happy for someone who's had a couple birdies in a row, you know? Hole 8's one of those holes that you really want to birdie. If you don't get it, you're definitely losing a stroke to the field on a day like this. I'm just throwing a little ESP banger right around the trees and letting it skip right up there. It's definitely a hole you have to get. Miles. Looks like he threw a zone. Good choice.
Now, is Himmeline sponsored by Discraft?
No.
So it's looks like it's what, 4 of you Discraft and 1 of you Innova.
Yep, and Himmeline's, I don't believe he's not sponsored by him. He just throws a mixed bag actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he putts and throws challengers and buzzes are his 2 favorite discs, he's always said. But his drivers are mostly Innova. Got Ron down here. Looks like he came up just a hair short.
Yes, sir.
Oh, just missed.
Stay up.
Himmeline for his birdie attempt. Oh, it goes too high. Did that it looked like it dropped off the edge
It
over
very
there.
well could have. It's a little bit of a drop off back there. Nothing too serious. Miles with an easy 2. Ron hits the comebacker. Looks like Himmeline stayed up top.
Yeah. Puts it in for his par. And Eric with the 2.
Donald always having fun out there. Hole 9's a really cool hole. I think it's about 400 feet uphill through trees, OB on the right. It's pretty challenging. You got to navigate the first few trees off the tee. You really want to throw something stable, but that will flip up.
And I've seen some people where they really throw, and if you can see over to the right side, there's some porta-johns. And I see people throw over there, and they can hit OB over there. I guess they're just trying to hyzer it too much in
Yeah,
there.
there's a window out to the right,
Yeah.
right there, like Donald's throwing on, and a lot of people just get that nose up or get the left side up a little high and put a little too much anhyzer on it. It'll just flip right over and hit a porta potty or hit a car. Even I've seen them both.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one time I was filming out there, and I went to take a bathroom break in one of the porta-johns, and boom, someone slammed a disc into the porta-john, and it scared the pee out of me.
I'll bet.
Ron hits a tree there, and he's going to be a little short.
Him aligned with it's a pretty good shot for a lefty on that hole. You don't want to throw anything too stable. It may skip out OB. This should be pretty routine upshot for Ron Converse, though. On a day like this, probably throwing either a putter of some sort or maybe a wasp, a buzz. It's hard to say with Ron. Ron's golf bag is one of the most unique golf bags out there. I always make jokes with him that he carries one of every Discraft disc.
And does he still throw some of the old school discs?
Oh yeah, he does. He throws XS's. He's one of the only people I know that throws the X putter. It actually feels like a lid, like an ultimate disc. Yeah, I believe he uses them for jump putts.
Throw it.
Pretty good shot. Got Giggler for his 2.
Yeah, it looks like this one's going to be a long go for putt.
Chain high. Yeah, this is the hole, and there's one coming up, and I think it's hole 11. Those are 2 of the hardest birdies to get out here.
Eric going for a birdie and hits the cage.
Just low. Got to get that up. This is Ron for his par. Looks like his upshot was just turned up a little too much. Looks like he's going to have to settle for the bogey.
Miles going for his par shot.
He's got a lot of action in his putt right now. He's usually not that... just low. Usually not that motion. Doesn't have that much motion going when he's playing.
Do you think
I don't know if it's nerves or...
I was thinking maybe he's a little more nervous about his performance. That was Ron settling for a bogey on that hole.
Giggler saves his par. In the line with his par. And I'll take a par. And Miles has to settle for the bogey. Hole 10 is a little hyzer skip shot. That tree right there you can see is a Mando. So you want to bring it outside and skip it all the way around. And typically if you get it on edge, it's going to skip all the way to the pin.
Now I've heard when people talk skip shots, they look at the condition of the grass. How important is that?
Very. Very important. If it's a thick, lush grass, typically you're not going to get any skip. But
oh, look at that huge skip!
But down here in Texas, there's not a lot of grass. Honestly, this time of year, it's usually all dirt, and you get anything on edge, and you'll get pretty much any disc out there to skip. Now here's a really rough hole for him aligned with that Mando, but that's a pretty good shot for a lefty to get it to be tucked around that corner.
Is that your parents back there?
Yep, that is my mom and dad coming out to watch us play.
That's awesome. Oh, another big skip from Miles.
Yeah, my parents are very supportive of me in disc golf, so anytime I'm in the area, they always come out and watch.
And they've always been really nice of letting me stay, and I always appreciate that. Let me stay at their house while I'm here in Texas.
Yep.
Nice skip from Ron.
Good shot by Ron. That'll putt.
Speaking of your family, your brother is a big ball golfer.
Correct. Yeah, he's a director of golf at Bridlewood in Flower Mound, Texas.
And your dad even is a big golfer as well.
Yep. They recently took a trip to Scotland, actually, and played St. Andrews, where golf was invented, and my brother got his first hole-in-one at St. Andrews. So yeah, there's definitely golf in my family. Even my mom, she's even a golfer. So
big golf family.
Yeah.
We just saw Donald Ellsworth miss a big putt. Looks like he was going for it rather than just laying it up. Eric McCabe going for a big putt here.
Chained out. Those can be really frustrating too when you're on target, you're hitting basket, hitting chains, and you just can't get them to stick.
Now, when that happens, I mean,
great putt, Hemi.
When that happens, when you hit the chains, and it goes out like that, how do you analyze that? Do you analyze your throw? Do you just blame it on luck, or?
Usually, I just try to blame it on bad luck. Ooh, that's a bad putt by Ron. You usually don't see that. Yeah, I usually just try to blame it on luck and try and move on. But I'll tell you what, when you have a 20-footer and it pops out, the next putt you've got, if it's another 20-footer, it's definitely in the back of your head. You don't want to be as aggressive with it. But, you have to be. Let the cards fall where they fall. Miles. Looks like he got a 2. Miles and Hemi. Hemi gets the 2 on the righty hole. That's pretty impressive right there. That's a little low. This hole plays about, I'd say, around 360. Pretty flat shot you got to throw. You got to get up through the trees. And if you throw anything with a blunt nose on it, it's going to have the tendency to want to skip left, and there's a road left, so you don't want to go over there. There's actually a wire, the cables you can see. Like this one right here is coming in, jumping up.
Maybe not.
And that's close. Guessing he probably stayed inbounds, though. On this hole, what I like to do is there's another pin over there. I like to throw it out toward that pin. And try to funnel through the trees. Yeah, I think I came up just a hair long on that hole. Which doesn't happen very often. I don't usually end up too long on that hole. Usually I'm either hitting a tree or just coming up short.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees down there, but there's a definite path that everybody likes to try to get.
And that's typically the one right there.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
It's all dirt up there, hard ground. So if you hit, it's gonna slide an extra 40 feet.
Shouts and
Looks like it caught maybe a little tree at the last of its flight.
Looks like Hemline didn't quite get up as far as everyone else did.
Yeah, it looked like he threw it a little low. Still a great upshot.
Ron's going to have to work for this putt.
Great putt by Ron. He was pretty much unstoppable that day, I think.
Yeah.
I believe he had me by 4 strokes going into this round. So I knew I had to put down a pretty amazing round to catch him.
Miles taking his time on his attempt for a birdie. Oh.
Well, I guess he should just be happy he was in bounds at least. Yeah, I thought I went a little long. Looks like I got a big straddle putt. If I remember right, I could only see the right side chains on this putt.
Oh, nice job. See that little fist pump
Yeah,
from you?
yeah.
Pretty happy about that one.
It's a great drive by the giggler right there.
That's pimp right there.
We've been calling him the Giggler, just in case people don't know. Tell us why we call him the Giggler.
Oh, it's Donald Ellsworth. That guy's always got the smile on his face. He's always laughing. He's always trying to make you laugh no matter what. You can't believe a word the guy says on the course, so he just likes to have a lot of fun.
Likes to play those head games, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This shot's again throwing back into those trees. Anything different than the previous hole?
Yeah, this one's a lot shorter, and there's a bigger gap, and less trouble.
Yeah,
less OB trouble. That's a great
nice
drive.
par job by Donald Ellsworth.
Typically on this hole, I'm throwing my buzz, and I'd like to throw it about, maybe half speed, and let it get, try to let it land about, a little shorter than that even. Let it just skip all the way up to the pin with all that dirt and rock. Not bad shot by Hemi. Got Miles. I believe Miles throws a banger on this hole. Just like a putt and approach disc.
I think he was a little short. I wonder if he wanted that to fly a little bit longer before it hit the ground.
Hemmeline. A little off on that putt, it looked. Looked like maybe he let go a little early or something.
Miles winding up again for his try 2.
Good putt. You can tell when he's making them. He's got that follow through, and he's. You can tell when he misses. He's not quite following all the way through.
How important is that follow through?
The most important. You're not going to make putts if you don't follow through.
Nice job. This should be easy putt for Ron. Puts it in for the 2.
And Giggler with that great drive.
I'm sure Giggler was making some kind of joke.
Definitely come a long ways from a couple bins of discs and a minivan or a truck. Now, people come to a DD event, we got the RV, the trailer loaded full of all kinds of merchandise. Customer service, be number one. Taking care of the golfers and our supporters and our customers, just to make sure that they come happy, come excited, leave happy.
All right, on to hole 13.
It's a pretty good shot here for the righty again, poor Hemi. It's what I'm throwing here is a force. Throw it out wide and let it just pop up and skip and funnel its way to the pin. It's probably about 320, 330.
This is another one that people really rely on that skip, huh?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the only ways to get to the pin. There is a gap that you can throw straight through the trees, but it's not recommended when it's so wide open out to the right to just throw the big hyzer. That's going to work too. Looks like it may come up just a hair short, but got Ron here. He's throwing a Z force as well. Those pink ones. Those are really good forces right there. That one didn't get quite the skip up like I bet he wanted.
What do you think? Miles probably throwing the same?
Miles throwing the same Z-force that myself and Converse threw. Those older run pop toppies that are just so overstable. He went a little tight, caught that tree. He's not going to be happy with that one.
So what shot is Himmeline going to do since he's a lefty?
Himmeline's one of the best Anheisers I've ever seen. He's probably got his sidewinder out here. Or he's going to try the roller.
Rolls out there. Is it going to turn?
It needs to flip. It needs to flip. Looks like it just kept going. And there's woods back there that should stop his disc. It shouldn't, you know, penetrate too much into the woods.
Miles obviously upset a little bit about his drive.
Yeah, especially on a hole like this, you really want to birdie this hole coming down the stretch. You've only got 6 holes left, and you know you really need to start making a move. Himmeline 80 past it, maybe not quite 80, but you know,
Wow,
he's way back there.
looks like he's going to try to go for it.
No. Good bid. At least it was chain high. Got Ron here putting for his deuce. If I remember right, I'm slowly trying to catch up to him. So
misses.
Got the giggler.
Puts his 2 in.
It's a good putt. Two for me as well.
So when you're sitting like this, hole 13, you know it's pretty close, and you really want to make a move. When you're staring at that basket, what are you thinking?
I'm just, at that point, you know, especially after Ron just missed, you know, I'm thinking, you know, just make sure you take your time on this putt. Don't take it for granted, and make sure you follow through and grab those chains. Ron having to tap in for his 3. $14. Most people just throw this big spike hyzer. This hole used to be really difficult. Ooh, that was close. This hole used to be really difficult as the trees on the right side have all slowly started to die and tops have started to fall off them, and just makes it a lot easier now for the righty.
Yeah, and this one's again, just from memory, just kind of remember where the basket's at and just kind of throw in that big high.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is another one of the blind holes on the course. Just a little short, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for Converse. Miles throwing a flex predator. Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, very nice.
Himmeline gonna try the old, looks like a thumber.
Trying to get way over those trees.
And it did.
Oh, good job. Ron up for his birdie. Should be no problem. And
No
yes.
problem.
See, 5th pump.
Another no problem putt for Ellsworth. Oh,
Yeah. Stay in there.
that's got to make your heart stop.
It's a great deuce by Himmeline.
And of course, Eric puts it in for his 2. Miles should step up and
Drop
it right in. That was a very nice shot.
Both of
I
those.
believe that was all twos for everybody.
On to 15. The trusty Z-Buzz. On a little bit of a hyzer, just get it to flip up a little and just barely get around those trees right there and give you a nice look at 2. You can. A lot of people try to throw the hyzer out the right side as well, but during tournament time, it's not a very good choice, seeing as how there's so many cars.
I've seen a lot of cars get hit parked over there.
I've even seen the RV get hit on this hole, and it's parked on the other side of the road.
Whoa, that's
So,
a big hyzer.
Converse. Makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
Look at that.
Nice dude.
Beautiful job.
Great
Rob.
shot. And I believe at this point I'd caught up to him, and I'm only 1 stroke back after trailing by 4, so he's not really feeling much of the pressure, it doesn't look like, does it?
No, not with that throw. Just lobbing it up there.
Oh!
Hit the cage.
That was so close.
Let's look at that again. Boom.
Off the top. Man, another what, few inches higher. That thing could have been dead center and nice little payday for Miles.
Yeah.
Emmeline, another tough lefty hole, but look at that
Good.
shot. It's pretty good.
Shot.
Pretty good pure drive. Nice 2 for Miles.
Another shot for you through the trees, huh?
Yep. Seemed like I had a few of these today, doesn't it? Decide on what angle, which side I want to, try to hit.
So are you just thinking of the flight of the disc, just trying to figure out?
Yep, flight of the disc and the easiest way to get up and down, really, to get up and in. And like I said before, it's all about the follow through. So if you can see it, you should be able to hit it.
Like you did. Good job. That was worth going for his birdie.
Oh no!
Yeah, he was a little amazed at
Wow.
that.
That's some of these older baskets too. This course has been in a really long time, so some of these older baskets, I don't know if the chain loses the galvanizing or what the case is, but they'll sometimes spit you right back out. This should have been a star birdie, it looks like, but Donald's gonna have to settle for the 3. 16's another one of those holes that you really want to birdie. That's my shot right there. I just throw the putter straight down there and then hit the 15-footer. Looks like Ron caught early tree, but pretty favorable kick, because if it didn't hit the tree, it would have kept going straight and been long, and kicked him left to where he has a look at the basket now.
Miles likes to take it a little bit different.
He sure likes to throw over the top of these trees, which, to each his own, as they say, but, for me, I just, there's a huge gap right there, and all you gotta do is throw it right down there.
Yeah.
Man, that gap's pretty good size.
Looks like Hemi throw it a little too high and hit some of them branches.
Giggler. That looks a little short. That's gonna work though. It got the nice skip through that little gap on the trees
I
there.
have to say that's a lucky skip with all those roots down there.
Absolutely. There's a lot of roots on this hole. It's a big putt for Ron right here. Look at him go. That's a great pressure putt right there.
Looks like Miles doing a little stretch for his little putt, because that's a big putt. Taking his time.
Definitely wants to make this one of the holes you don't want to miss.
Oh!
That's freaking
Baffled by it.
Definitely upset. I'd be upset too. That looked like it went straight through the chains.
Sometimes when you get frustrated, and stuff like that happens, it's hard to come back from. It's hard to calm down. It really is. Unless you're Donald Ellsworth, of course.
And you just sink it right in.
Thank you.
2 for me as well. It's a few I think I've strung in a row now.
Miles settles for the 3.
17 is it's about 400 feet and little uphill, little OB on the left side, and I typically throw my buzz on this hole. Just pop it up there high and hard and let it turn, see what happens. It's all right. That'll give me a putt.
Yeah, it didn't look like you got quite the distance as I've seen you get before.
Yeah, I didn't get it very high, not as high as I wanted.
Ron goes for the roller.
That's a pretty risky shot right here, in my opinion, when you have a one-stroke lead with 2 holes to play. You got to make the other guys, make them catch you. At that point, you just need to throw a safe shot out there. I mean, but he's thinking, I'm up there close and probably going to hit the putt, so he needs to get aggressive as well.
Now, this one's probably seems to be pretty friendly to the lefties.
Yeah, I played with Santos Montoya one year at this tournament, and he's a lefty, and he skipped it right in for an ace.
Oh, wow.
Donald. Big turnover shot. You can see this wire right here in front of the camera. That is actually OB, and it cuts all the way around the backside of the basket as well. But there's a lot of sand on this course, a lot of sand right by this basket, so if you're coming in hot, most of the time it'll stick on this hole.
Looks like Miles going for a roll as well.
Yeah. Got it a little too tall. It's going to finish up there to the right, but it'll give him a look.
And there's the look he gets. Nice big putt. Takes his chances, goes for it. Hits.
Just a hair left of the pole. Probably what kicked that thing out.
So what's worse, missing it big or hitting the chains and missing it?
I think hitting the chains and missing it is a lot more mentally frustrating. Yeah. And low.
And hitting the cage.
You got to get that putt up. Really think I needed that putt right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Himmeline. I believe I was at 13 under at this point, and the course record was 14, or it was 13, and that putt was to go ahead of the course record by 1.
Wow.
So. Didn't really commit to that. Didn't follow through, as you could tell. He kind of stopped short. And this is Ron for his deuce.
I'm thinking this should be no problem for Ron.
Yeah. There's a little bit of pressure on him, but right there, you put that in with 18 to go. It's pretty easy. Hole, 2-stroke lead. He should wrap it up pretty handily, actually, pretty easily. Miles putting in his 3. Himmeline as well. His 3. And I'll take a disappointing 3.
On to the last hole, hole 18. What's the distance on this hole?
It's really short. It's like 280. It's just a little skip shot. That's perfect. There's one tree in the middle of the fairway. You just want to hyzer around the backside of it.
This is always a cool hole because the RV is right there, and about the time you guys are finishing up, most people are finishing up as well, and they're over here watching the ending. Makes for a nice little gallery watching the ending of the round.
And you always got Old Man Tom parked out right there watching people come through, so
That guy's done a lot for disc golf in this area.
He sure has. If you don't know Old Man, you need to make a trip out to Lewisville Lake on a Tuesday or Thursday night when they're running their minis, and talk to that guy. He's a great guy. Got Giggler now. I've seen Giggler ace this hole.
Oh.
I believe it was in 2001. We played a tournament out here, and he about did it again right there, but he aced his hole. The last hole to tie me.
Oh, wow.
To tie me in the tournament. Miles. It's kind of a weird little skip, but give him a look at least.
Ellsworth going for his birdie attempt. And puts it in. A nice way to finish. Miles is going to have to work a little bit for his birdie. Takes his shot. And bounces off the cage.
He didn't play too hot today, it didn't seem. He was just off just a little bit.
Now it's time for Himmeline to step up. Takes good shot. Good job.
Good birdie. I'll take my birdie.
And that did put you at
14,
which is
the course record out there.
Kind of
shot a 14 under course record and still didn't win the tournament.
That's what I'm saying. A little bit of bittersweet there.
Yeah. Ron played some really great golf this weekend. I believe he shot a 10, 7, a 7, and a 10. So some pretty good golf out there at the lake.
Good job with Ron Converse Jr., 2010 Lewisville Open champ.
Close, man. Good job, old man.
I want to thank everybody for watching, and be sure to look for more lead card footage from Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and I'll definitely try to see if I can get Eric McCabe to help me out with the commentary. I want to thank you for helping me out.
Absolutely, I'd love to do
Ron
it.
Converse, you just won Lewisville 2010, Lewisville Open 2010. You had some really good rounds, round 1, 2, and 3, but round 4, that was really a nail biter as I was watching it. Tell us a little about round 4.
Round 4 started out pretty good, but I got to hole 3. I was about 10 feet out of bounds on the water shot, and I think I actually hit the tree coming in. But at any rate, I got a bogey and Eric got a birdie, and that was 2 strokes. And I had him by 4 going into the start of the round. So we played on through, and we were both playing pretty darn well. I made a really long putt on 6 to hang with him. He had it pinned, and that kept me in the game. And then on 7 was good. 8 I threw poorly, and he parked it. And then 9 on the drive, I hit a tree really early, and then my approach was bad. So I ended up taking a 4 there, and Eric just barely missed getting his deuce. So at that point, I believe we were tied right there. And then we crossed the road. I had an opportunity to get back a stroke, and I missed my putt. Actually whiffed it, which was pretty sad. On the next hole, I made a good one, and Eric was just, as you'll see in the video, Eric was just awesome on the putting. He really put on a demonstration of how to putt from hazards. He putted that one around a tree on a lean. Parked the next one. I missed a putt that I probably should have gotten on can't even remember which hole it was, and that was the last one I missed. I birdied out the last 5 to finish at 11. Hole 17, with us tied, Eric threw a buzz about, probably 375 feet or thereabouts on a 400-foot hole, and he ended up having a less than a good putt, and with the roll, I was probably at about 20, 25 downhill, and I got my putt, and that put me ahead by one, and we finished out on what for us is a comparatively easy birdie hole. So I ended up squeaking it out.
Well, it was a very impressive match. I enjoyed watching it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I bet Eric's round will probably rate out probably 1070.
Yeah,
He shot a 14. I just got an 11, and I was very happy with my 11. The last 11 I shot was a 1050.
Now, I've been watching a little bit of PDGA, and I noticed you've had a really good run of some wins here lately. Is anything you can tell us that's kind of contributed to that?
Not really. I've started trying to focus a little more on my putting when I'm getting up there. I'm telling myself that I'm in my backyard and trying to focus on it that way rather than looking at what's behind it or whatever. I'm just trying to get it in the basket. And if I can pull off that mental judo, I can make the putt. And that's really, I've been making a lot of good putts, and that's what it is.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you in more matches.
Thank you.